The final game at the Rent for Jimmy Nielsen and Hartford Athletic before they head over to Dillon, and they're looking to end their tenure here at Rentschler with 3 points against Brenda Burke and the Bethlehem Steel in an Eastern Conference clash on a gorgeous Saturday evening here in Hartford, Connecticut. Tyler Terrence alongside Devin Kerr. Thank you so much for joining us. The game tonight brought to you by Barbarito Nissan. And Devin, when you take a look at Hartford, of course, a woeful start to the season, all on the road their first 8 games. However, since May 19th, they've looked much sharper. They've been a lot more consistent, talking to Jimmy Nielsen in our phone call with him a couple days ago. And they've done it against some of the better competition in the East.
Easy to look at them and go, wow, they started 0-8. Every game was on the road against some of the best teams, not just in the Eastern Conference. You could make the argument in the USL Championship, but they've recovered quite nicely. In this 2-1-3 stretch, they've had a win against St. Louis FC. That was a team that was the talk of the East for quite some time. A little bit of an Open Cup hangover. However, good ties against Ottawa Fury and North Carolina FC. They've really started to click.
Well, they've really started to click, but they've had some injuries. Logan Gadula heads back to FC Cincinnati, his parent club, and Harry Swartz, who's been one of the best players going forward for Jimmy Nielsen, is going to have to move back to that right back spot where he, however, did start the season.
Colin Martin gets recalled by Minnesota United. Giuseppe's out with a concussion. Tyler David still nursing that groin injury. The list goes on and on and on, but they found a way to get it done. Harry Swartz has proven to be a valuable commodity. Yes, it's frustrating that he comes back to the line. However, Jimmy Nielsen told us this is probably the spot, if he makes a step to the next level, where he's going to be an attacking outside back.
Well, for Bethlehem Steel, the man who we usually always keep an eye on and who is the heartbeat and soul of this Bethlehem group, James Chambers, a bit too much mustard for the Irishman, suspended for yellow card accumulation, and they're certainly going to miss him in the middle of the park.
It's going to be frustrating for sure, but that's the leadership that this guy brings to the field. He leads by example, and he throws his weight around, and I don't mind it. If you look at the challenges, they're not frivolous. He's trying to prove a point, set an example, sometimes getting involved in the run of play so that the other team can't transition, and that's fine. What does it do? It provides another opportunity for these young guys to step up, one of which has to be the makeshift center back tonight, Matt Real. Matt Real, a guy who likes to be that one-on-one outside marking back from the U20 World Cup. He'll be matched up next to Benufimu on that back line, and what can they do from a leadership standpoint? You and I were joking. Very, very young player that has a massive amount of experience. Was not surprised to see him get the captain's armband.
Well, he's on a back line that features all teenagers, and he is by far one of the most experienced players on this Bethlehem roster, having played over 50 games in his career for the Bethlehem Steel, and does not turn 20 until July 10th. So it just goes to show how much youth, how much inexperience that Brenda Burke has to put on the field in this new system under Ernst Tanner. Meanwhile, on the other side for Hartford Athletic, last game at the Rent, and they're looking to go out with a bang. It's Jimmy Nielsen's Hartford Athletic and the Bethlehem Steel when we come back. Almost ready for kickoff here in the final game at the Ren for Jimmy Nielsen and Hartford Athletic before heading over to the newly renovated Dillon Stadium in a couple weeks' time to take on Indy 11 for what should be a terrific match. But first, we got a terrific match on our hands here tonight in Hartford, Connecticut between Hartford and Bethlehem. And we'll take a look at the starting 11 beginning with the visitors and Brendan Burke. Devin Kerr, injuries, youth galore. We have a back line of all teenagers. We have Issa Rayan playing up top. What else are we looking at?
Good news, only 4 changes. And you can laugh at me, but trust me, with the revolving door that has been Brendan Burke's personnel, 4 is not that many. Shivani Willis still nursing that ankle sprain. He'll be back in the middle next to Cole Turner. They'll move into this block of 6, trying to go forward. They've been fluctuating with that, going with a diamond in the middle a bit as of late. So they're going back to what basically the personnel should look like from a philosophy standpoint. Walter Cortez in back at left back, and Issa Rayan up at top right forward next to Ferris paired up. He's going to be the wild card to allow this attack to explode.
Meanwhile, on the other side for Hartford Athletic, who are coming off of that 2-2 draw at Birmingham Legion, where Swartz and Gadula were the goal scorers. Out goes Swartz back to his parent club in FC Cincinnati, where he came on loan from. And it's going to be Harry Swartz back into that right back position. What else do we got?
We brought up Logan Gadula, how he's not in the center back position. Kyle Karinga, that'll be an interesting one for me because he's an outside marking back. He plays the right back position. Really like the relationship that he had created with Harry Swartz. Swartz will tuck on the outside right next to Kyle Karinga, who is next to a veteran, Sem DeVit. He can help him on that back line, see what they can do. I think Raymond Lee has been great, but Ken Angulo and Rasmussen provide enough firepower up top to help get the job done.
Well, it looks like we're almost ready for kickoff here at Rentschler for the last time for Hartford Athletic, barring any scheduling changes in the future. But, well, it has been a good little stint here for Hartford before moving in to their new digs. And away we go from Hartford, Connecticut. It's Hartford Athletic and Bethlehem Steel with 3 points up for grabs in the USL Championships Eastern Conference. I invite you to turn off the world and just turn on the game and join Devin Kerr and myself, Tyler Terrence, for what should be an excellent night of football. And Devin, talking to you before we came on air, and in between the open and coming on air here, do you think this is going to be a little bit of a shootout?
I just have that feeling. With all the rotating pieces, guys in new positions, recent run of form, I feel like this thing is going to turn into a wide open affair where all bets are off and let's just go have some fun.
Rasmussen was almost able to get there, and Devin Kerr immediately thinking that his prediction is moments away from coming true. And we'll take a look at the Trentolo and Trentolo injury report. Tyler David, Giuseppe Gentili, Williams, the list goes on. And meanwhile for Bethlehem, Diaz with a lower body injury that's probably going to keep him out for some time. And Brendan Burke was not happy about that injury. You're never happy about any injury, but Diaz specifically was one that hurt.
A right partial meniscus tear that don't necessarily know if it's going to be season ending at this point in time, but he said it is going to be long term, and that's frustrating for sure. Ryan Williams dealing with that back injury. Nice to see him on the bench, though if you had the option as Jimmy Nielsen as a manager, you'd like to nurse him back into health. Hopefully they don't have to call in his services and they can get themselves out in front. If they are going to bring him back, look for a 20 or 30 minute spell. Don't want to have to go to the bench sooner than that.
Mats Jorgensen on top of the corner. He's been hitting some deadly set pieces. Straight to the top of the box for Barrera. Now chips it in. It was trying to go back across from Rasmussen. Nice little cute design set piece from Jimmy Nielsen and the powers that be at the Hartford Athletic technical staff. And a goal kick coming for Tomas Romero.
Ball coming from Danny Barrera, the Colombian who they picked up recently. Asked how that came about. He said, you know what? Received a text that he was still available. Hadn't made any competitive matches this year. Did have a run with Cal FC earlier on, but came in, week trial. Thought he performed particularly well. Now he's pretty much become, obviously only a few matches. This will be his 3rd one back, but become a mainstay up there. Really help out, and 29, good opportunity for him to just continue his career on and help some of the youngsters out.
Make history with Hartford Athletic as Connecticut's pro soccer team takes the field for the first time in the newly renovated Dillon Stadium in Hartford on July 13th at 5 p.m. Tickets start at just $16. Yes, you heard me correctly, $16. Go to hartfordathletic.com/tickets today to be a part of history. Bethlehem fresh off of that 2-1 loss against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, a game in which Brendan Burke was very happy with the way that they played in the second half, not so much in the first. And he told us on the phone call, quite frankly, he just went into the locker room, sort of gathered his composure a little bit, but the first thought that was running through his head was, what on earth is going on?
It's hard, and it truly is. And we've talked about it a little bit here and there of change in philosophy, how you've got so many pieces there going younger than ever before. And to give you an idea of what's going on around the league and who's doing it as well, you really can name only one other organization, Seattle Sounders, more specifically Tacoma Defiance. You're regularly shelling out guys that are 15, 16, 17 years of age. And to say that you can compete with some of the best in the league gives you an idea of what they're trying to do here. And that's nurture this young talent, gain experience, and push them into Philadelphia Union. It's always nice because at the end of the day, this is a business. And if you can bring them through your own ranks, it saves you a lot of money. They play down a lot. They start slow a lot, but they can still get results. You and I were on the game versus Lou City a couple weeks ago. Very impressed. There was some questionable refereeing, but some really good run of play from the youngsters. And that just goes to show you, he said, you know, how do we get it right? Devin, I think we got it really right in that St. Louis game. We came out early. We did a really good job of just playing to what we're capable of. That didn't happen in the Rowdies game. It was all second half. I said, how do you change that? He said, you know, we just have to stick to our principles, break the lines down. We were able to do that in the second 45, just have to start a bit quicker.
Mats Jorgensen going quickly from the set piece. Alex Dixon, great first touch. Here's Dixon, and a save off the line from Romero. It might have caught him in the face either way. A terrific stop from the young keeper. Still opportunity alive for Hartford. What a ball delivered by Mats Jorgensen. The first touch was probably even more impressive than the delivery, as Jorgensen has quickly become the main set piece taker for Jimmy Nielsen at just 20 years of age. It all started with that free kick against New York Cosmos B, as Frederick Douay is playing with a little bit of fire along the back line for Hartford at the moment, and Kyle Karinga will try to play out of pressure.
Jimmy Nielsen told us, he said, look, when Alex Dixon is healthy, no question about it, he is the biggest game changer in the USL Championship. Whether you agree with it or not, there's a display of what he's capable of. And you're spot on. The first touch out in front of him sets himself up so appropriately. Well done by the goalkeeper to get out. Looks like he might have taken it off his face.
Hartford Athletic would like to extend a special thank you to our title partner, Trinity Health of New England. Jamaican Chivani Willis. His countrymen will be taking on Panama in the quarterfinals of the 2019 version of the Gold Cup. That game will be in the city of brotherly love from Lincoln Financial. And the United States have the Cinderella story of Curacao. That'll be a good game. A lot of people are not expecting it, but that'll be a very, very good game.
They have talent. They have talent. They have a lot of pace wide open. You and I were texting each other at the end of the Jamaica game, just kind of in awe as to everything that was going down. Such joy on the game-tying goal right at the tail end of it. You knew how much it meant to him.
Jose Angulo was trying to touch one through for Danny Barrera. We've seen the likes of the USL Championship Jamaicans who have been featuring regularly for the Reggae Boys. Junior Flemings has been getting a lot of playing time. They really like Speedy Williams in the middle of the park. Sean Francis seems to be a mainstay along the back line. We haven't seen the likes of Kevon Lambert from Phoenix Rising FC, but over on the other side for Haiti, who actually won their group, beating out Costa Rica in their final group game by a score of 2-1. You have Metchak Jerome and then James Gaffard, who's actually on the roster for Fresno, and then Metchak Jerome from El Paso. They'll be taking on Canada.
Topi, forget him. Hasn't gotten called to attention, but still nice to see the youngster get the nod.
Here's another youngster in Farris going for goal early, and takes a deflection off Semdevit. And Bethlehem are very happy to have young Farris back after he received his second sending off of the year. And Brandenburg said, listen guys, discipline is obviously going to be an issue sometimes with guys who are only teens. And Farris is somebody who has an incredibly high ceiling, but somebody that we're more than willing to take the lumps with along the way. And it just sort of needs to be one of those things. And listen, you're so much more valuable to us when you're on the field as opposed to off. And if you can't stay on the field, we're going to have a very good chance to win.
And to be fair to him, when you and I were talking with Brendan about it, the first one, was it really a red in that Louisville City game? That was not a red whatsoever. But still, I mean, I was in a situation when I was 18 years of age, going between high school and club soccer. My coaches literally had to sit down with my mother. We joke about my disciplinary record. They had to sit down with my mother and said, we need to find a way to keep him on the field. I was getting thrown out of games regularly. I'm not proud of that, but I was very vocal. I'd go and get a silly card opening 15, 20 minutes for running my mouth, and then a challenge that was actually deserving of one in the 75th minute. I'd put my team down to 10 men. It's not a good look, especially when you have the talent level of Farris.
Kyle Coringa was directing Mats Jorgensen to go long with it. Now it goes back for Frederick Due. And finally, he'll send it away. Head referee Lucas Spala going in the direction of Bethlehem.
Quite surprised that Kyle Coringa has actually taken shape just inside Raymond Lee. Would have thought being on that outside right side on a regular basis that he would have just tucked in, brought Harry Swartz next to him, maybe because the two are still very young. Even though Kyle has had a boatload experience with both the Monarchs. Last year, the injury-ridden season of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That would have been just a quick little tuck over and call it a day. Not the case. Seven of it will play inside there instead.
Harry Swartz gets sealed off. And on rushing Farris, and a free kick for Hartford Athletic. And Brendan Burke holding true to his word, Devin, saying that he was going to press this Hartford side from the opening whistle, not giving them any breathing room. However, they're finding a little bit of breathing room right in front of the technical areas with Danny Barrera. Good little stab ball through for Raymond Lee. Now he takes it on the first time, comes it off of Benjamin Ofemu. And a deep throw in for Hartford.
Wasn't really sure how this was going to play out on the move for Raymond Lee to Hartford Athletic. I think he's been great. A guy that has just fit right into that back line and starting to find himself on the offensive side of things as well, getting involved going forward.
Here's Swartz getting forward. Delivers one towards the back post. It's a good ball for Nicky Downs, but Nathan Harriel up to the task. There's Barrera again, closed down quickly.
Good rotation here by Hartford Athletic coming from the near side all the way back around. Harry Swartz talked about his vision. That was the big talking point with Jimmy Nielsen. I said, Jimmy, this guy has played on the back line. He's played up top, coming out of Northeastern, was a striker, but you use that term loosely because he was such a great distributor of the ball, and he's occupied so many positions on the field for Athletic. There's a good look at it. Just picks his runner out on the back post. The back line steps up and pushes the offensive threat away, but that's the look that he can give you. He's not afraid to challenge out of the back, come inside. Really has all the tools of the trade.
Farris on the turn. Watch out when he gets going. Slips a great little ball through, but the offside flag is up. Or check that. It actually looks like it's going to be a foul brought back as Farris had his jersey tugged. Lucas Spala recognizing that perhaps Bethlehem didn't have the advantage after the ball was slipped through. But Devin, I ask you this question. If you're going to bring it back after the ball is played, are you in the right in doing that? Because Farris made the decision to keep going, makes the play. It's not the same sequence of events.
Let it play on. Don't understand the decision by the referee there whatsoever. It just makes sense. Ball's going forward, it continues to go forward. Why not let the play continue? So you bring it back, you're basically punishing the steal. You nod in approval.
We're in agreement. It's happening more and more lately. And the
circle.
The bad thing is that it's with regards to referees, which is not great, but it is what it is.
Anything to grow our relationship, and of course, how it translates on the broadcast.
Sure.
I'm happy to do that.
All right. Hartford still looking for their first clean sheet in their club's history. Perhaps Frederick Due can be the man to set that precedent in the final game at the Ren. As far as temporary stadiums go, this is not a bad one.
It's men amongst boys. This is, you step in, and I thought it was interesting, their first game when they came for their home match, which again, week 9. So it's difficult to come from behind like that. but you looked around and the noise was absolutely insane. And you had people on social media going, oh, the place is only 20, 30% full. Yeah, it holds over 40,000 people. They had just under 12 for their first home match. And Jimmy Nielsen telling us that, look, I've played all over the world. I've been in a massive amount of environments. That was second to none. He said it was a fit for a king, European environment, awesome from start to finish, and applauded the fans. And of course, that comes down to the venue itself and the acoustics that it can provide.
Barrera, nice little feint. Now he's going to clip it in, but Jose Angulo was already making the run towards the near post. Still a little bit of work to do for Bethlehem. Zach Zandy's header straight up in the air. Mats Jorgensen more of the same. And then Nathan Harriel a bit more authority behind it. However, Ferris can't handle it, and he gets bailed out by the referee. Harry Swartz not happy about the call. 23-year-old from Needham, Massachusetts, as Devin mentioned earlier, a product of Northeastern. What is the nickname of Northeastern, Mr. Devin Kerr?
The Antelopes.
No, that's Grand Canyon State.
I know it is. I'm kidding with you. I feel like it has something to do with a bird.
No.
Can I get a hint?
It's one of the easiest nicknames in all of college sports.
The Easterners.
Our producer, Paul Beam, was right.
Couldn't hear him.
It was a Husky.
Husky? Nice.
Yeah.
Why is that an easy one?
I mean, how many schools can you name off the top of your head that are named Huskies?
UConn.
One.
Done. That's all
University
that
of Washington.
Yeah, that's two.
Northeastern 3. It's like the Wildcat of dogs. Alex Dixon clips it through. Mats Jorgensen now. Sem de Witt. Beautiful sweeping ball over for Danny Barrera. Raymond Lee trying to seal off Shivani Willis, and now he gets bailed out. Some physical play ensuing between these two sides.
That's one of the things right there where you can tell that a new player has come into the squad. When this ball gets switched, which was beautiful, by the way, by Sem de Witt, Danny Barrera does very well to take it down. As soon as it comes down to his feet, should have knocked it into Raymond Lee, because he could have been down into this channel and gotten it back instead. Took a second touch, third goes into Raymond Lee, and it took him 3 before the foul comes. All that space starts to close down. You use the term bailout. They got very lucky. This isn't a turnover to go the other direction. That's an opportunity where Hartford Athletic just needs to play a bit quicker.
19th Regiment doing what they do, providing awesome acoustics. Mats Jorgensen teasing little ball in. Matt Real with a heroic header. Hartford Athletic would like to recognize the Hartford and all of its founding partners for the 2019 season. More hands exchanged between DeWitt and Shivani Willis. Now here goes Ferris on the other end, showing great strength. Here's Ferris! Back into the lineup, back on the score sheet. He's impossible to stop when he gets going, and Bethlehem take a 1-0 lead on the road in the final game at the Rent for Hartford Athletic.
Brendan Burke said just one of the more special players that has come across his deck over the past couple of years. Take a look here, just very well done. Understands the space in between the back line, dissects it immediately, and decision-making, what has been lacking over the course of his young career. Gets this one right, though. Lets this ball come across his body, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, just tucks it to bed. That's exactly what you're going to get out of the Cameroonian up top.
5th goal of the season, which is a team lead. Raw talent. Coming into potential, Brendan Burke has nothing but terrific things to say about this young man. And he flat out told us this man has the highest ceiling of almost anybody that he's ever worked with. And you saw it in a brief little glimpse there from the Cameroonian. And the Bethlehem Steel have been battling injuries, have been battling implementing a new system. Take a 1-0 lead against the Hartford side that has looked much better over the past month and a half. And now Hartford Athletic will have to play from behind yet again.
Let's go!
Alex Dixon for Barrera. He curls one in. Jose Angulo thought about trying to bring it down rather than the bicycle kick.
How about where this ball came from? Cole Turner. He was a massive part of our conversation today with Brendan Burke, the youngster who had an opportunity this year to go down to Clearwater. He was with both Bethlehem Steel and Philadelphia Union. Got an opportunity versus New York Red Bull in that preseason game to play center back. He said, look, at the next level, when he continues these repetitions, he may be a center back. We're not necessarily sure yet. They've had the opportunity. They've rotated him in outside back, rotate him into the midfield. This gets an opportunity next to Shivani Willis. Just quick little ball in. And he said that he has this great IQ, phenomenal vision, kind of what we were talking about with Harry Swartz earlier.
Now it's Nicky Downs, Yale University product. Nipped at from behind by Benofemu. Bethlehem were trying to pull a fast one and claim the throw in for their own. Raymond Lee couldn't get enough on it to find Jose Angulo, who is camped behind the Bethlehem defense. Benofemu, heavy touch. Backline for Bethlehem, Walter Cortez, 19 years old, Matt Real, 19, Benofemu, 18. Nathan Harriel, 17. And without James Chambers in there, the average age of Bethlehem, somewhere around 20, 21.
Really thought you might have done the math. I would have been pretty impressed if you did that off the top of your head.
The what?
Yeah, the math.
Oh, okay.
Arithmetic.
There you go. Dixon able to keep it in play at 1v1 with Walter Cortez. Delivery takes a deflection. It's awkward for Romero. Punches it off his line, though, and Matt Real scuffs it the other way. But it's straight into the path of Ferris, and he's finding himself in a lot of 1v1 situations. Takes it inside, trying to cut it back. Now wins it back from Harry Swartz. Ferris still going. Swartz with a good challenge from behind. And Ferris is wreaking havoc along the Hartford Athletic back line.
This kid has a massive amount of gears that he can access at any point in time. Gets the decision wrong here. Should have come square to Issa Rayan. Watch him pick his speed back up. Just a little nudge on the back, not enough for a foul. Downshifts, gets those high revolutions going on that big engine of his, and then increases that speed once again. Credit to Swartz, who tracks back across, gets a tackle in. This would have easily been laid back in, headed up for a second goal for Bethlehem Steel.
20 minutes gone, 1-0 to Bethlehem. Ferris with the lone goal here at Rentschler. Bethlehem were trying to pull something from the set piece, and it's not one of those set pieces where they're trying to fake you out with a little bit of confusion. This is actual confusion. Now Zach Zandy sends it in, looking for Ofemu, but it's straight at Dewey. Anywhere else, and that's 2 for Bethlehem.
It's easy to dissect this and say, bat header. That's the easy thing to do because it's right at the goalkeeper. But look at his positioning. This is hard just to even get a head on it. Raymond Lee jumping, tracking back across his body. It's hard to put this down where you want to. So credit to the goalkeeper to just get an opportunity to be right place, right time. Dewey, another one of the ones that said from Jimmy Nielsen, high ceiling, and earlier on this year, felt like lack of repetitions really clouded his judgment. Not the case as of late. You alluded to their inability to close things out and not get a shutout. He's not necessarily the reason why. He's been great in between the pipes.
Nathan Harriel finding Zandy. That was Anthony Fontana. Now here comes Zandy on the other end, straight into Semdevit, or rather Karinga, and then Raymond Lee finding Barrera, but first we'll get a stoppage because Kyle Karinga took a shot straight to the midsection. Jimmy Nielsen has been very pleased with his team's consistency as of late. That was the buzzword that he was using when we asked him about the turnaround since the beginning of the season, where they had to go 8 on the road to start their inaugural campaign. But obviously, not a very consistent start here against Bethlehem, although you would make the argument that Bethlehem's goal more or less came against the run of play, no?
A quick little restart going the other direction. Catch the back line sleeping a little bit, and that was something he brought up to us when I asked him about the Birmingham Legion game. I said, Jimmy, you know, to be honest, watching it, and some bystander just doing some fun prep work, thought it was a good game, very entertaining. He said, I would agree with you, very entertaining. When I went back and watched it the second time, probably too entertaining for my liking.
Sure.
That's where that lack of consistency came into play. He said, our ability to move in transition, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, has to be better. We opened up too many spaces for the opposition, and that's what we've done in the consistent part of our game and haven't been able to find that. And that's why teams are picking us apart and why they're finding in the back of the net. Gives you an idea of early on where you have a pretty good run of it, couple opportunities, half chances for Hartford Athletic. You fall asleep for 1 second and the team makes you pay.
That certainly doesn't feel good.
Just catch your breath, take one in the midsection, you'll walk it off. Trainer out there just having a few words. So they walk out to check on you and just stay over there. I'm fine. Give me a bottle of water, I'll be fine.
You know what this is about.
Go back to the sideline.
And Kyle Karinga gets a warm round of applause from the 19th Regiment and the Hartford Athletic faithful. And again, because of the colossal sort of blueprints of Rentschler, I think the 19th Regiment is probably one of the more underrated support groups in the Eastern Conference. Is that too hot of a take?
No, not at all. I think the fact that they don't have something to call their own, their home yet, that's a difficult one. Right around the corner, though, you and I were just talking about it, that Indy 11
game. Great game, too.
Get closer to closer. Open up your home venue versus a team that sits atop of the East right now.
They're red hot. They're Phoenix hot right now.
Told you at the beginning of the year, they were my pick. Starting to come about.
How good of a final would Phoenix and Indy 11 be?
That would... wouldn't be able to talk that fast. The way that game would be. We talked about this game being wide open. Those two would be track meet end to end. Interesting how they've been doing it recently, though. Dane Kelly in and out of the starting 11.
I had a feeling that was probably going to come.
Tyler Pasher, beast, though. He's having some kind of year.
Isaran getting stood up and cleared away by Jorgensen. A little bit experimental having the former ACC Player of the Year up top in that striker partner position with Farris. Zandy recycles it for Shivani Willis. His role being a bit more defensive, according to Brendan Burke, especially with James Chambers out of the scene to the yellow card accumulation. Wanted him to sit in front of that back line. Here's Zandy on the turn. Sliding one through for Farris. Tried to go back for Zandy, but it was actually his off foot that got caught in the way of that back heel. It was a great idea. All the ideas and the right thoughts are there for Bethlehem. The execution, however, has been off throughout the points of this first half of the 2019 campaign.
Just think about it, though. Sometimes your mind's moving faster than your body. This is ball played across you. You're then trying to bring it back across your body with not your strongest foot. I mean, he wants it on the other one. In between three defenders on a back heel, that's a really difficult ball to take when nobody's around you, yet alone when you're being closed down by three Hartford Athletic players. But the thought process is there, and that's the biggest key here.
Oh, Pereira, not a bad idea for Jose Angulo. And immediately he looks backward. Any reason for that?
Frustration. It's not a bad ball in. It's always going to be a hard one coming in.
It's going to be difficult to bring down, but he's almost looking negatively back towards his teammates, which is a little bit bizarre, but we'll play on. Harriel on the turn, able to avoid Raymond Lee. Bit of a hospital ball for Issa Rayan, and cover from Kyle Karinga. Here's the 17-year-old Cole Turner, Churchville, Maryland. Fontana. Farris comes in hot for Zach Zandy. Shows good strength. Walter Cortez getting forward. He'll have to take the scenic route to get there. Look at Alex Dixon just hounding the youngster. Great little step over there from Fontana. Still Fontana trying to get on the right side of Swartz. Was he taken down? No, but we will have a corner.
Harry Swartz shaking his head here, and I think this is the referee doing them a bit of a favor. Didn't want to blow a foul there, because if this goes over the end line with Harry Swartz touching the ball, I'd be shocked. Anthony Fontana, quick little run around. You get a better look. That really looks like Fontana's last touch off the foot. Comes back across, one-on-one over the byline.
Anthony Fontana certainly brought his dancing shoes to Hartford, Connecticut. Although Brendan Burke did need a bit of a suggestion from Devin Kerr as to where to go after the game, as this one lofted in and Frederick Douay punches it off of his line. Giovanni Willis. Ariel. Tackled from behind by Barrera. Angulo waited a bit too long, and Walter Cortez, good defensive posture, wins a free kick for Bethlehem.
Walter Cortez rotating all the way over. The goal by Bethlehem Steel. Just a quick little ball down the middle to Spring Ferris in one-on-one. I'd like Angulo to keep an eye on that as well. There's a good look at how wide these center backs are. Cole Turner, Giovanni Willis occupying those two holding midfielder positions. When Angulo passes Turner off here, I'd like him to play a higher line because there's a lot of space to be had. Quick little turnover and you're in, go the other direction.
Hartford win it back again in the middle of the park. Now it's Nicky Downs leading the charge. Avoids the challenge. Angulo just thumps it back down for Barrera. A bit of a spacing issue for Hartford at the moment. Mats Jorgensen, though, solving that problem. Rasmussen has been almost invisible in this match so far.
He's part of that striking duo up top where he's playing the 10 underneath Angulo. And he's having trouble next to Turner and Giovanni Willis, just finding a fluid motion with this ball movement going forward, or lack thereof.
Issa Rayon trying to go back for Willis. It was not a bad idea whatsoever. But up steps Sam David. Where a bad pass in, and Bethlehem will reclaim it. Brendan Burke very happy with the way that his team is sort of executing that counter press when they lose the ball, still staying in a dangerous area and staying further up the field as Cole Turner's fouled by Nicky Downs.
Outside of the St. Louis FC game, this is their best start over the past 6-7 matches. This is one of the troublesome problems that they've had. And they haven't been shy about it. Brendan Burke hasn't been shy to talk about it, as now the boys will get an opportunity for a hydration break and chat it about with their manager.
And right now, 1-0 to Bethlehem, thanks to the goal from Farris just a few minutes ago, his 5th of the season. It came in the 17th minute, and it was just a quick restart for Bethlehem. And a great little ball into space.
To be fair, Harry Sports has to keep an eye here. It is a quick restart. Both center backs trailing. Karinga, Sam David have no clue. David, not even in your picture. The inability to understand the quick movement going the other way. That's where that lack of communication starts to break down, where David and Logan Gadula had created such a good partnership back there. They would have easily said, shift back, everybody tuck in. That didn't happen. So as soon as it breaks down, the youngster Cole Turner recognizes it, plays that cute little ball in behind. Ferris makes him pay.
Ferris with his 5th goal this season. How about Cole Turner getting his first professional assist? Hartford Athletic fans, be sure to vote for your Cigna Man of the Match on Twitter using hashtag Cigna, MOTM. Devin, thoughts on the first half hour?
Said it was going to be wide open. It's been impressive how both teams have managed to have some opportunities where you can see the execution just lacking a bit. Some of the decision making is breaking down. Talked about that movement over to the near side with Danny Barrera. Just doesn't have that well-lubricated system that we've seen out of him in past seasons. Of course not. Even his manager says it. Hasn't played a lot of professional games. None up until a couple of weeks ago, and that was 6 months removed from the game. And for Bethlehem Steel, just a good start. They've shown us over the past few matches that they can close things out. They just couldn't get out of the gate quick enough. So prospering so far, but still plenty of work to be done.
We'll resume after the hydration break. Score stays the same. Farris with the game winner at the moment. And with all of the struggles that Bethlehem have endured, throughout the beginning part of this 2019 season. They're still vying for a playoff spot. 11th place, 16 points, 3 points gets you back on 19. And puts you right in contention with the likes of St. Louis FC, who are dropping a plethora of points during this little US Open Cup run as Phyllis Rapsjusen wraps one in for Alex Dixon. He tries to knock it across, well handled by Benjamin Ofemu. Nathan Harriel. Big switch for Issa Rayan. Nathan Harriel now cutting inside, looking for an option. He's going to take it himself and ends up yanking it wide.
Always interesting in this game to see everything come full circle. Fun little media nugget come via way of Tom Villa, no pun intended. A gentleman who has obviously nurtured our efforts over the past few years with Bethlehem Steel and Philadelphia Union, and alluding to Raymond Lee, same one who initially drafted by Philadelphia Union back in 2015, only the one appearance. Was loaned to Harrisburg City and actually signed with Bethlehem Steel at the start of 2016. So they would then part ways with him. He would make his way to Tulsa that year. And then be nurtured by Bob Lilly and the Rochester's Rhinos and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Guess who missed that penalty?
Raymond Lee.
Raymond Lee, that's right. That allowed Bethlehem Steel to move on and take on Lou City once again, who still haven't been able to bite that one off. Struggling against Lou City.
Raymond Lee just had one appearance for the Philadelphia Union during his time there, and actually scored his first professional goal this year. And Raymond Lee is not a rookie, folks. He's 25 years of age. Kansas City, Missouri native, and scored it against Memphis, if I believe.
I remember it was a 1-1 draw. Too many games.
That was a 2-1 loss.
2-1 loss.
Elliot Collier had the game winner.
Is that one? I thought he scored in the draw.
A lot of games. Fontana. So as it stands, Bethlehem on 19 points. Jump ahead of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are also on 19, due to your favorite tiebreaker in all the USL Championship. Wins over goal differential.
Still interesting to me that multiple managers you bring it up to think either way.
But let me ask you this, though. You go to Gold Cup in a group, as Harry Swartz gives it away, in a group, the first tiebreaker is goal differential. The fourth one is points gathered from the team that you're going up against, which is basically just head-to-head. That doesn't make any sense.
Points gathered from the team that you're going up against.
That you're in the tie with.
What if you tie each other? That's one each.
Then you go to the fifth. Then you go to the fifth.
Gotcha. Point flip.
Farris on the other end. Still Farris. Tried to square it back. Loose in front. Issa Rayan around the keeper. Still Rayan. It's 2 for Bethlehem. Farris again creating for the Bethlehem Steel. And it's the most unlikely of goal scorers in a much more advanced position than he's used to. Issa Rayan, who gives Bethlehem a 2-goal cushion on the road here at the Ren.
Talked multiple times about Hartford Athletic and their universal soldier and Harry Swartz. Issa Rayan, same goes for Bethlehem Steel. Lovely fact that he's been able to move all over the pitch for Brendan Burke. Another one that's been outside back, played up top, played in the middle, and his ability to just understand the space. He's right where he's supposed to be. Doesn't initially get there to him. Actually fights back to this. Heads, gets it right. Flips it right back around, wins the challenge, but patience. Does not get off his rocker whatsoever. Very calm and collected inside the box. Back across his body. What a way to open up your account. First goal of the 2019 campaign.
He's been waiting to pull off that celebration for a long time. More or less, it's the second week of March when we open up the 2019 season. And Brendan Burke experimenting with the former Duke man, putting him up top alongside Ferris, and the experiment paying off.
It's not surprising, though. This is a kid who became basically the right-hand man to Giovanni Monastioca under John Kerr Jr. at Duke Blue Devils. I mean, the kid scored 6 goals, had a phenomenal freshman campaign, and he did it all from the forward striking position. He was on the right side of the field. They always used him up top. Very impressive. And again, we talked about Harry Swartz, but they're very similar in size, stature, ability to play, break things down. You've seen it early on from both players.
2018 ACC Rookie of the Year. He had 6 goals and 3 assists from the right back position. And like the ACC Rookie of the Years before him, decided to leave college early to go pro. Early ball for Alex Dixon, but cut off by Matt Real, and the captain, just 19 years of age, with a big defensive play for Brendan Burke's group. And the last thing that Bethlehem needs is to give up a quick goal after getting his 2-goal cushion. Meanwhile, on the other side for Hartford Athletic, you are doing a lot of things right leading up to the final third, but it just seems like once they get there, they hit a bit of a standstill.
Also notice that when that ball did pop out, everybody went to it. You didn't need 4 guys crashing on the ball. Goalkeeper has to communicate the proper movement here. Center backs then have to stay in touch with that, where if one's gonna step, 2 can go. When all 4 of you close down, there's space in behind. It's exactly what happened. He just stood there and waited. And as soon as the ball popped out, he goes, brings it back across, and then nobody closed them down because they'd all jumped too early.
Semdevit for Harry Swartz. Rasmussen. Karinga stepping up. Just gives it away right to the foot of Anthony Fontana. Bethlehem want to go, but they need an option. They find one in Ferris. He tries to slide one through. That was not a bad idea to find Issa Rayan. Raymond Lee almost saw it go out of play. Angulo can't bring it down. Frustrating first half for him.
2 up top in general have been pretty much null and void in terms of their ability to make an impact on this match. Have to find a way to get those 2 back involved. Angulo, Rasmussen. So good look in. If you're going to tuck down in that number 10 spot, you got to find a way to shut down some of these passing lanes. I think that Brendan Burke said they were so good at in the second half versus the Tampa Bay Rowdies, finding those windows to play through. He's been able to do it early on here. Hartford Athletic not doing themselves any favors.
Bit too direct there from Bethlehem. Pushing down by Kyle Karinga. Now Semdevit will have to go negative for Due. And
this is another look as well. This long ball coming across. Why is Jose Angulo going to win that? You've got 2 up top. Rasmussen's the target man. He's standing just about 6'2". You're going to play this long ball out. You have to find a way to give yourself a realistic opportunity to go win it. Matt Real, 6 foot. Ben Ufimu, almost 6'5". So you're knocking this 50-yard ball up and expecting Angulo, who's about 5'10", 5'11" on his best days, to go win it and then bring it down and allow the speedy, no, not speedy whatsoever, Rasmussen to come in behind. It's got to be the other way around.
To be fair, neither Angulo or Philip Rasmussen are all that fleet of foot.
Use the height advantage to your strengths then. You're going to play that ball up there, give him a chance to actually go get it. Instead, you've got the smaller one. I mean, you've got an old school English-style striking partnership up top. Good players, by the way, but it's counteracted right now. You're knocking it to the smaller one, allowing Rasmussen to sit underneath. That's not the look you should be going for here. Play side by side, at least in those situations. Play side by side, so when the long ball does come, one checks, the other one can sit underneath, or bend around back and go for the flick on.
And the other thing that is bothersome for Jimmy Nielsen is that Alex Dixon, who has the most pace on the field, I would argue, is nowhere near the play.
It's not his fault. He's isolated.
It's not.
Yeah, out on the right side, and he's got his hands full. There's a lot going on for him with Anthony Fontana. And to be fair, Walter Cortez next to Matt Real really coming to his own. The Costa Rican getting better as the season's going on. Alex Dixon just has to find a way, maybe use some of those skills to yourself, cut in a little bit more.
Danny Barrera cutting in, now back on his left, curls it in, Angulo brings it down, Angulo waits, still Angulo trying to chip it through, a good save from Romero, now here's Downs, he misses it, Barrera now, and it's blocked off the line by Benjamin Ofemu. Heroic defending from Bethlehem, and it remains 2-0.
Tomas Romero takes this one right off the chin as it makes its way back around. So many times nowadays, everybody talks about handball, no handball. Watch Ofemu, knows exactly where he's supposed to be. When he gets up here and the second and third opportunity come, watch the arms, right inside his body, come back across. Good job by the center back. Danny Barrera could not put it on frame. Like Angulo, though, we saw the calmness on the other side of the field by Rayan. Jose just trying to do the same.
And that's Jorgensen's corner kick, goes over everybody, and Bethlehem come away unscathed after that tizzy in front of Tomas Romero.
Two very similar situations on opposite ends of the field. Bethlehem closed it out. Hartford Athletic could not. Why? Notice the composition of the back line. Nobody panicked. Everybody just sat in their spots, and you saw the rush by the goalkeeper. Then Ofemu challenge. You would see 1 and 2 at a time. It wasn't like a pot of bumblebees trying to surround the ball like we're all 8, 9 years old when you're youngsters. Not the case. Everybody knows their positions and the space to be occupied, and they just waited for it to break down.
Romero, who's one of the more familiar names in Bethlehem Steel FC history, started a game in 2017 against the Rochester Rhinos when they were still kicking it in the USL Championship at just 16 years of age. He at that time became the youngest goalkeeper in the USL to make an appearance as Kyle Karinga muscles Issa Rayan to the floor. Offside flag is up, and we're being told that we'll have 5 minutes of stoppage time. Most of that being accounted for the hydration break we had at around the 30-minute mark. There it is, our fourth official making it official. Barrera, Rasmussen, great little flick. Here's Mads Jorgensen, fakes the first shot, back for Rasmussen. Tried to lay it off for Nicky Downs. It breaks up the entire attack. The option is still available, though. Raymond Lee out wide for Barrera. Now he lofts it in, not a bad idea. Matt Real away, only as far as Swartz. He's going to take it, and he'll send it into the third row here at the Ren. Everything was gorgeous for Hartford, but you just had to expect that somebody was going to pull the trigger.
Beautiful ball movement by Athletic. Love the little pass right at the top of the 18 to break things down. Gave an opportunity inside the box, though. To your point, Tyler, no one was really to step up and really take the reins on this attack.
It was initially the Danish connection between Rasmussen and Mads Jorgensen, and the feint from Jorgensen was great to get it back for Rasmussen. And
open up your hips and hit it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, super simple little touch, come across your body. Plenty of space to do it as well. It wasn't like he was being challenged. Had room to work with, just didn't necessarily have the confidence.
Well, at least the attack is starting to become more and more lively as the game goes on for Jimmy Nielsen's group, as it looked a bit anemic, at least when it got into the final third. For the first 35 minutes or so, you would candor to say, as Walter Cortez, wiggling his way out of trouble, still has it at his feet. Now here's Farris trying to turn upfield. Last touch coming off of Sem David. And somehow Bethlehem Steel maintained possession. Not exactly the send-off that Hartford Athletic had in mind for Rentschler Field, but they do have a great opportunity to be the comeback kids, as Farris, again, just fending off Harry Swartz. Still Farris gets it all the way across, and Anthony Fontana can't get there. But Farris is playing like a man amongst boys at just 18 years of age. Fontana in for Issa Rayan. Great first touch. Can't slide it through. It pinballs off of him, and a goal kick coming.
Scary to see him at his best. He is on some type of level when he gets going. Speed, the precision as well. And you're starting to see that decision-making come in. That's really where he has lacked the most. Brendan Burke, his manager, telling us that in order for him to even sniff the Philadelphia Union, has to be much more tactful in and around the 18. Seen some poor ones, but also some good decisions as well. He's pass cutting back, eventually led to the Rayon goal.
Alex Dixon can't get around Shivani Willis. It's at his feet while he's on his rear end, and it falls for Jorgensen, who takes a rip, but always going over the bar, but he is capable of hitting it from that distance. Hit the crossbar with a ridiculous free kick against Nashville. Probably saw the best goal so far that we've seen from Cameron Lancaster in a Nashville kit. Eerily similar to his record-breaking 25th.
Referee just saying 1, 2, 3, no more. Send of it. Center back getting pulled out of that back line once again, coming up, challenging Ferris. If you're Bethlehem Steel, just kill the game right now. Take the air out of it. A couple minutes left in this added time for injury. Or hydration break, as you mentioned. Well done by the youngsters, the opening 45 minutes. Still plenty to play for Hartford Athletic. I mean, they've shown you that they have those glimpses as well. Slow start for them, in theory, especially on the defensive side. Really some poor decision making, to be honest. And it all goes back to all the rotation that's going on for Jimmy Nielsen's boys as Gadula departs, Semdovic slides over to the right. Kyle Karinga comes onto the back four.
Nicky Downs, Jose Angulo was calling for it. He takes the safer option, finds Jorgensen, and now he'll go on his way. Linking up with Harry Swartz. Another inch-perfect bar this time for Rasmussen. Looking for Angulo. The Bethlehem bench calling for halftime, and the halftime whistle finally blown by Lucas Spala, and it's the Bethlehem Steel who are rooting this send-off party here at Rentschler. And it's that man Ferris who got things started in the 17th minute, and then Issa Rayan more recently with a terrific goal after the play from Ferris along the byline was electric. Ferris with his 5th goal of the season. And then it was Issa Rayan opening his goal-scoring account as a professional in a Bethlehem kit. Lots of work for Hartford to do in the dressing room. We'll head to a break. Halftime here at the Ren, and it's Bethlehem Steel FC with a 2-0 lead over Jimmy Nielsen's Hartford Athletic. Goals from Farris and Issa Rayan. And we'll take a look at some news and notes from around the USL Championship. North Carolina FC trying to join the likes of Indy 11, Louisville City FC, and getting some new digs. 20,000 seat open-air downtown sports and entertainment stadium proposed to the city of Raleigh on Tuesday. How about this? Devin Kerr, hard-hitting journalism on Twitter. He just retweeted it. Tampa Bay Rowdies trade Antoine Openo straight up to Louisville City for Lucky M. Kosana. Brandon Allen over to Memphis 901 FC. Not so much as interested in that as I am in the initial part of that little nugget.
It's better than I retweeted. If I try and tweet, you've seen how long it takes me.
Yeah.
I mean, the composition of that takes a solid 20, 30 seconds. There's revisions. I have to have the editorial review on your end. This trade is great for both teams. I truly like this, and here's why. Antoine is going to be much better in that possession-oriented offense for John Hackworth. By the way, the reigning champs are getting stronger as the season is going on. Watch out. They have Luke Spencer back, George Davis is back, Del Piccolo, and for Lucky M. Kasana, he'll get an opportunity to stretch that back line, much more pace behind the movement of the Tampa Bay Rowdies in transition.
And how about all the pace on this list? Gold Cup date. Pardon the pun, or don't pardon it. I mean, it was kind of intended from our producer, Paul Beam, but still a number of players who are featuring for their sides in this Gold Cup. Jamaica, of course, is going to be taking on Panama and Ernesto Walker of Los Dos, and just a slew of USL Championship players for the Reggae Boys. How about Haiti winning their first ever group at a Gold Cup? They're going to be taking on Canada. Lots to look forward to in that tournament.
I'm not going to let you speak bad about him. I love the wording up top.
So do I.
Just making sure. Give him pay credit where it's due.
All the credit in the word to Mr. Paul Beam. If you've ever seen any dancing man at a University of North Carolina basketball game, it was probably Paul Beam. If you want to go check that out on YouTube, it's all over the place.
Cuptastic. This is Cuptastic.
Well, he wants to go to break now. He just doesn't want me to talk about it. Let's go to break.
It's not his show.
It's not. It is his show. Let's go to break.
Take us to break, buddy.
For almost 2 decades, San Diego has been waiting for a professional soccer club it can call its own. Now led by leading soccer executive and co-founder of Sacramento Republic FC, Warren Smith, and legendary United States men's national team player Landon Donovan, its club has arrived. The USL Championship is coming to the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium, bringing all the excitement of the fastest growing league in North America to one of the top soccer markets in the United States.
All right, gentlemen. I don't think we need to kind of review what this game means, but it is a really important opportunity for us. I think it's an important opportunity for you guys in a lot of ways. Goal is to advance in the U.S. Open Cup by beating Cincinnati. It is that simple. Any questions? Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go. It's more than just the two clubs. There's a bit of an angst between the cities, quite frankly. You can feel it.
There's just so much on the line. We're in the 3rd year now of seeing FC Cincinnati with, you know, a lot of big moments that have happened and history built up.
Last year we came here twice and we won both games. Dealing with the crowd, the pressure, I think is one advantage that we'll have as we've dealt with it.
4th round of the 2019 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the site of the renewal of one of the great budding rivalries in U.S. soccer, FC Cincinnati. Now the big dog from Major League Soccer hosting Louisville City FC, a rainy Nippert Stadium, the perfect place, Lorena, to renew the River City rivalry.
Sam Warner, the beauty.
Jamal Johnson, he only knows bangers.
Look at Taylor moving up. And Taylor with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding?
Jamal Johnson from distance.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
A great save from C.J. Cochran.
What a great little matchup we'll have there between the Quails and the Foxes of Sacramento and Fresno in the latest edition of Wednesday Night Soccer, which we do promise is going to be actually on a Wednesday night this time. And we'll take a look at the standings in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. And Mr. Devin Kerr, I'd like to pose this question to you. We don't have the bottom half of the standings in here. Pittsburgh Riverhounds is really the only team where I'm thinking to myself, oh, maybe they should be inside this cutoff line. Are these the teams that are going to be in the postseason come October?
No.
Pittsburgh instead of?
I believe Pittsburgh will get in instead of Bethlehem Steel.
That's it.
Yeah, the thing is it's funny because it goes back to what you and I have talked about on the offensive side of things, going for games. Pittsburgh doesn't. Only 2 losses on the year. They got 7 draws. But the consistency there, they look better on a regular basis compared to Bethlehem Steel. If Bethlehem Steel plays like this, forget it. They're 100% in. The one that could fall out, though, for me, is the Charleston Battery. I don't see St. Louis because of how good they are defensively, but Mike Anhauser's bunch, it's not what we've seen in previous years past. And this is a team that has made the playoffs every single year. The only team in the modern era to do so. This might be the year where they drop out and they don't get in.
I'm going to have a hot take right here. I think Ottawa will end up getting a home game in the first round.
Oh, that's easy. That's not a hot take.
That's easy?
They look good.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Here's the weekend schedule in the USL Championship. North Carolina FC and Nashville. That should be a good one. Charleston Battery and New York Rebels, too. That should also be a good one. Tampa Bay Rowdies and Ottawa Fury. That'll be a great one. Fresno and El Paso.
Wake me up when it's over.
Okay, there you go. Phoenix and Portland Timbers 2. There's a battle of number 1 and number 2 in the Western Conference. Feels like Phoenix is in one of those every single year. Then you have Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC, a battle of the 2 teams who can't decide what conference they want to play in. We'll leave it there. Second half right around the corner. Bethlehem, Hartford, final game at the Rent. Don't go anywhere.
Where some see a barber, I see a magician. I see Hugo, of Hair by Hugo. Wizard of whiskers. Sorcerer of scissors. Houdini of hair. Hugo is a small business owner. Me, I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see nothing small in small business.
The Hartford Small Business Insurance. The Buck's got your back.
Nick, we need a decision. These days, we all feel a little anxious sometimes. But if you could see inside my mind, you'd find I go to my happy place. See, if we let tensions run the show up here, then our bodies won't perform at their best out here.
Wait, are we going to the sound check?
Priorities. So I'm partnering with Cigna to remind you that how you're doing emotionally affects you physically. Go for your annual checkup and be open with your doctor about anything you're feeling, physically and emotionally. Body and mind. Cigna, together all the way.
Almost ready for the second half here in Hartford, Connecticut, and boy, does Jimmy Wilson and Hartford Athletic have a little bit of work to do against this Bethlehem Steel side that has a entire back line that's made up of teenagers. They have Issa Rayan playing at a position up top with Ferris. They're missing James Chambers, but put all that aside. Forget everything you knew about Bethlehem Steel FC. They performed beautifully when they were given the opportunity. However, Hartford on the other end, they've had a couple of really good opportunities denied by the upper body of Tomas Romero. He takes one off the chest, he takes another one off the chin later on, but it was Ferris who got things started in the 17th minute.
Both of which could have ended up in the back of the net, and this is exactly what Brendan Burke was looking for. That game changer up top. Ferris coming off of suspension, his second red card of the season, does a good job. The ball by Cole Turner is why they're available, though. The youngster, 17 years old, Churchville, Maryland, just dissects the back line, quick little restart, he gets him out in front. But then the IQ in and around the top of the 18 is what has been lacking for Ferris. Not the case tonight. Great job stretching the back line once again. However, unselfish. Rayan understands that he's going to get it right at the top of the 6. He doesn't, though. Great composure. Gets stuck in 2, 3, 4 guys from Hartford Athletic. Nobody steps in. They all run to the ball. Issa Rayan makes them pay. 2-0 Bethlehem Steel.
And then Hartford Athletic would try to get one right before the half, and this was very similar in terms of the patience, but again, it's Tomas Romero taking one on the chin.
Right off the face, and second chance right there. Nicky Downs an opportunity. Danny Barrera, 2, 3, 4. This was the difference of why this one doesn't end up in the back of the net, and Bethlehem Steel did. Notice, everybody didn't crash on one spot. They all just kept their line. Everybody stayed, and when one checked, they all rotated back over to the normal spot so that when the third and fourth opportunity came, they could step in and close it down.
Well, this is interesting from one of Brendan Burke's team, especially in the new system under Ernst Tanner, the new sporting director of Philadelphia Union, and obviously has a say with the Bethlehem Steel, but
Possession.
They don't do that anymore.
Massive amount of it. 4-2-3-1 last year. We're side to side, methodical. Let's get it going. Now, run and gun. And I don't know if I've ever been on one of their games, nor have I seen any one of their games where they're leading with possession at halftime. So that gives you an idea of what Hartford Athletic is probably trying to do and counter this team. That's how they've had a bit of success as well. Lacking the two boys up top, though. Have to find a way to get Angulo and Rasmussen involved in the run of play going forward. They are the reason that on the offensive side of the ball, they've only had these glimpses, and it's been mostly from midfield players stepping up. Got to find a way to get the two striking partners going.
Does it only fall on them, Rasmussen and Jose Angulo?
Yes.
It's just them.
Right now, it is 100% them, because look at everything that's happened. Danny Barrera getting involved, Harry Swartz getting involved, Alex Dixon with the one-on-one. Nicky Downs and Jorgensen have the shots right at the top of the 18. Have you seen that from Angulo? Have you seen it from Rasmussen? And we talked about, how about those long distributing balls come out of the back? How are they supposed to get on the end of them? Again, you're using one of the smaller target men. That's not going to be a good look. So either put it on the deck and start to play out that way, which they're capable of, or if you're going to go long, you have to use the big body of Rasmussen.
Well, there you have it from Mr. Devin Kerr, Professor Kerr, as it were, as we will resume play here in the second half. 45 minutes to go here at the Rent for Hartford Athletic before moving over to Dillon Stadium on July 13th to take on Indy 11 in the first game in their new digs in the $10 million renovations that took place to Dillon Stadium, which is going to hold 5,000 and be a terrific home for Jimmy Nielsen's group. But first, a little bit of work to do in the second half here against the Bethlehem side that has struggled over the past month and a half, 2 months, but certainly taking everything in stride in the first half. Jimmy Nielsen already having a conversation with the fourth official here. Walter Cortez just goes straight through Harry Swartz. He stays on his feet, or somewhat. And then Matt Jorgensen goes back for Semdevin. Karinga stumbling out of the back a little bit, and now Nicky Downs will come back from where it came. Heavy touch from Barrera. Make history with Hartford Athletic as Connecticut's pro soccer team takes the field for the first time in the newly renovated Dillon Stadium in Hartford on July 13th at 5 p.m. Tickets start at just $16. Go to hartfordathletic.com/tickets today. Hartford Athletic currently sitting in 17th place on 10 points, 2-10-4, and in danger of becoming 2-11-4, and perhaps sliding even further down, but still some time to make up for it. And as Devin mentioned, it is as simple as just getting Angulo and Rasmussen into it.
Quite interesting the way that the East is starting to take shape as well. We quite regularly address the parity, or what that is, in the Western Conference, how everybody is so tightly bunched together. Not the case in the East. As you look at Indy 11 sitting atop at 33 points, and the bottom of the playoff bracket, Bethlehem Steel currently sitting at 19. Opportunity, though, for Hartford Athletic with a win tonight. If they can get back in this, they can draw to 16, just 3 behind Riverhounds, Bethlehem Steel.
Jorgensen for Alex Dixon. Trying to find Nicky Downs, but up steps Cole Turner.
Chatting with Alex Dixon earlier this year, he said, I promise you, we will be right there come playoff time, that we are going to find a way to put the wheels back on this. Results have been better recently. And we said 2-1-3 over the past 6 games against some very heavy opponent. Remember, they had a nice win in the Open Cup run of play as well.
And while the ambition from Alex, of course, is great, the thing that concerns me the most, and I wonder if you agree with me, is the fact that they have gotten 3 ties in this little run here. And it's not like they're trying to. We've had a conversation with Jimmy. Are you going to try to go after games more and try to get 3 points more often? Because you guys did go 0-8 to start the season, or 0-8-0 to start the season. You need 3 points basically every stop that you make. And he said, yeah, of course we're going to try to do it, but sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. And in some of these draws, that certainly has been the case. They had a goal that was disallowed against Birmingham Legion. That probably would have been the game winner from Jose Angulo. And you've seen some other instances as well where the ball simply does not bounce their way.
The good news is, though, is that outside of the boys at the top of the conference, they're gaining points on guys that are close in proximity to them.
Decent idea over the top for Issa Rayan.
You take a look at Loudoun United. That's a win. You have to win those games when you're so close together. The ones that are within a game and a half have to find a way to close points, so they beat Loudoun. The St. Louis FC, it's a great victory. I don't want to say not needed, because obviously you want to get points anytime you can, but then you don't drop points to Birmingham either. So that's a good thing. As long as you're not dropping to the ones around you. If you're going to lose, and this sounds ridiculous, but you can lose to Tampa Bay Rowdies at this point in time. You can lose to NCFC up top. It's the ones around you that you're most concerned about, because let's be honest, if you're going to get back into the playoffs, you're not going to be in a top 4 spot. Probably not going to be in a top 6. At this point in time right now, you're fighting for a 9 or 10 position.
Farris fighting for a second goal. Trying to slide it through for Sandy. It'll fall for Willis. Giovanni Willis lets it fly, but it's way too high.
I've seen him pull the trigger from there before. Giovanni Willis. Guy who Brennan Burke felt that, based upon the way that the year was progressing early on, that great run of form. Of course, the nice win against Charleston Battery. It seems like eons ago that he deserved a more offensive role. It's taken a different shape recently with all the injuries and squad rotation, international duty.
Mads Jorgensen from distance. And with all the options that he had in front of him, you can't help but wonder if that was the best decision. For Nicky Downs, trying to reverse the field of play. Rasmussen now wide for Alex Dixon, 1v1 with Harriel. It's caught with it, and Anthony Fontana comes over to double down. Fontana, excellent work. Holds up play, finds Farris, but he has it poked away from behind by Kyle Karinga. However, wings it back with that long, lengthy stride of his. Now Farris on the move again. Still Farris, has it on that left foot. And an off arm to the face of Harry Swartz. And it looks like it's going to be Mustard as well for Farris.
Referee just helping Farris to his feet here as there's an overextended elbow, catches Harry Swartz right across the cheek. See the Massachusetts native immediately reaching around the nose area, checking back out. Well done, just staying in behind, wins the ball there. There's a quick little elbow coming right across the body. It's one of those ones where he just has to understand, have to be better in situations such as this. Yeah, you've given the ball away, but he hasn't won it back yet. It's a tiny little touch. You can still maintain possession and give your team an opportunity to play a higher line. Instead, turn it over. It's that 18-year-old mentality coming into play.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com.
Taking Alex Dixon and flip-flop with Denny Barrera. Alex now on the left-hand side, which means they'll be looking to capitalize on his ability to cut in. Said that in the first half. I'd like to see more of that out of him. The natural right footer, now an opportunity to really have some fun if they can just get a bit more distribution to the talented winger. And Jimmy Nielsen telling us how difficult of a season it's been for him so far. So many nagging injuries, not necessarily keeping him out of the lineup on a regular basis, but just felt like it was one thing after another. To give you an idea, it was the hamstring, then the separated shoulder, then a concussion protocol, and all of that just prohibiting him from consistently being in the starting 11, though always involved in the run of play.
Zach Sandy has it broken up by Semdevid. Excellent challenge. Walter Cortez directing traffic. Farris wanted it. Still Cortez. Now finds Farris. Cortez in for Farris again. Harry Swartz first to get to it, but again, brushed off the ball. Even when his touch is so heavy and out from his feet that the defender's able to get there, he still finds a way to retain possession. Next for Bethlehem, a massive fixture, a 4th of July fixture against an in-state rival in the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and a team that they're battling with for a playoff position. They have a bit of an awkward schedule. They'll go Thursday, July 4th, away at Highmark against Pittsburgh. Then they're Wednesday, July 10th against New York Rebels 2 as Alex Dixon finding some space and using his pace. Dixon taken down from behind by Nathan Harriel. That most certainly is going to be a yellow card, as Harriel has shown mustard. He claims he got the ball, but no such luck for Lucas Spalla. And now a dangerous set-piece opportunity coming up for the home side.
Just like that, Alex Dixon showing you why they like to isolate him out on the wings. Great touch out in front. And this is one as a winger, you know the challenge is coming. You can feel the pressure on that right shoulder, and you're either going to be in, having an opportunity to put it in the back of the net, or you're going to be going to ground. Very well done by Alex Dixon to just take this to the ground the entire way. Now a dangerous opportunity. We bring the big boys up from the back line, and Semdevid pretty good in the air. There's Rasmussen we talked about. Can you find a way to utilize that tall stature of his? As you can tell, they don't have a massive amount of height on their side. Don't forget, he can hit these as well. He is not afraid to challenge the goalkeeper. Not a bad angle, a difficult one for the goalie as well. Has to stay honest on the cross, but also account for the shot.
Jorgensen keeps it low. It's awkward for Romero, but he hangs on to it. No seconds available.
I don't mind this. The problem is that Semdevid was frustrated going back. Try and convey to your guys, this is where you need to have some sort of communication system, symbol signs, anything, to let them know that you're going to have a strike. Because if they run in front of this, all the traffic could cause disruption for the goalkeeper. That could end up in the back of the net. We saw it earlier today on Megan Rapinoe's goal, where the United States national team for the women coming back across just obstructed the goalkeeper's view, ended up getting their opening goal. It's exactly what could have gone on there if they just talk it out.
Raymond Lee just dumps it into the channel. It's a handball on Nikki Downs. Hartford Athletic fans, there is still time to vote for your Cigna Man of the Match on Twitter using hashtag Cigna, M-O-T-M. Here's Farris again. Takes it over the top, hoping for Zandy, and Jorgensen clears it away. Walter Cortez bending one in. Well by the Hartford back line. Dixon gives it right back though. You can make the argument from a possession standpoint of being able to build out of the back that this is a worse performance being put on in the second half from Hartford than in the first. As Zandy bumped off the ball and he gets awarded a free kick.
To your point, Tyler, it's similar to what we saw earlier this year, all those road games. The first time I got the opportunity to talk to Jimmy Nielsen was in their 1-0 loss at Indy 11. And sitting there waiting for the conference call. I said, Jimmy, how you doing? Blah, blah. He goes, tell me what you think. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. I talked about the inability to play through the middle of the field, the lack of disruption, and how there was no true movement between the back line to the middle to the top. You're seeing that again. And been a bit harsh on Rasmussen and Angulo. That's why I want them to work a bit together a bit more, but you can see the entire middle of the field, when they start to go in transition, non-existent. 30, 40-yard gaps where it becomes the Alex Dixon show. It's Jorgensen all by himself. Have to find a way to get them all involved.
Matt Real just clips one in the space, but it's angled too closely to Frederick Douay. And he'll distribute quickly for Raymond Lee. And some green jerseys getting forward for Jimmy Nielsen, but Nathan Harriel steps up. Now we'll have our first substitution of the evening. Or we'll wait. The assistant referee had motion for it to take place, but Hartford take the throw in quickly. Philip Rasmussen keeps the train moving for Danny Barrera. Barrera, good movement here from Hartford. Nicky Downs now. Downs lets it fly. Angulo wanted it into space, but the Yale University product figured that he would have a go from distance.
How about that sequence? This game is very simple. We make it that much more difficult. It's just easy little touches on the ball. Nice communication. Danny Barrera has tucked himself in from the outside position. Quick little rotation out, but everybody involved. Nicky Downs getting in there. It's Jorgensen. And eventually just releasing to that near post. Don't mind the look whatsoever. Have a challenge. Go after Romero.
Raymond Lee hoping that Angulo will be able to run onto it. Difficult for Ofemu, but Angulo can't bring it down, and Matt Real comes away with it. Cortez, little stutter step, gets rid of Barrera. Cortez, Issa Rayan now. And for Farris, somehow got a touch to it. And Raymond Lee finally able to clear it away for Hartford. One by Nicky Downs, now it's Angulo on the turn. Angulo threading it through, Alex Dixon could be in here. Here's Alex Dixon, and another save from Tomas Romero. The teenagers simply cannot be beat tonight, and it remains 2-0 to the visitors.
There's some of the movement we talked about where Angulo Rasmussen just coming back in, helping to distribute. Well done by Nicky Downs. I'd like to see this ball a bit earlier. If this ball is sooner, it allows Dixon to really utilize his speed, bring it back across his body, get it on the right foot of his. Instead, the only option he has is near post on the left foot. Good save by Romero.
Still not even sure if Romero has made a save with his hands yet tonight. Headed away by Shivani Willis and helped along by Farris. And we'll have our first substitution as Vucic 26-year-old from Poland. He is going to come onto the scene here in the 64th minute. And he will replace Jose Angulo, who had a rather frustrating night.
Just about the last 5 minutes or so, you really started to see Angulo get involved in the run of play. And he and his manager not embracing each other, both frustrated with each other's decisions, the way it's gone for Angulo, lack thereof, and Jimmy Nielsen just giving them another dimension up top now. There's some of that height. I want to be clear here with Rasmussen. Boatload of possession ability, just hasn't had the opportunity to play off it. Immediately you can see it, long ball in, tries the flick on. Just need to get some better decision making out of Hartford Athletic as they continue to grow into this game.
Sandy just brushes one in for Walter Cortez. The Costa Rican now clips one in. A little bit away from goal. Good first touch for Nathan Harriel. Into the 10th row.
I'll get it.
What's your favorite line?
Taxi. And when you're playing the way that you are, and it seems like everybody else is getting involved in the attack going forward, you want to have your time to shine as well.
Great little two-man game between Zach Zandy and Anthony Fontana. Now space on the left-hand side for Bethlehem. Issa Rayan, Walter Cortez. Now he lashes it across the middle, but too close to do a sensational build-up play for Brendan Burke's squad, though. Heavy touch from Nicky Downs.
It's twice that it's gotten away from Nicky Downs. The first one was just moments ago. Lucky they weren't able to pick out Zach Zandy as he was trailing on the run right at the top of the penalty mark. We'll show that one in the dressing room. Anthony Fontana going to be a poster child for
Frederick Due or Frederick Suave?
Yeah, there you go.
Now it's Alex Dixon on the other end. Dixon, well wide.
They're starting to get there. You can find it. They're really starting to see each other in the same light for once. Goes back to what Jimmy Nielsen told us, how he knows what these guys are capable of. He sees it on a regular basis each and every week on the training ground. All these relationships that have cultivated together over the past few months. We talked about their recent run of form. Only the one loss in the previous 6 matches. And this is one of the ones you really don't want to get away from. You sitting close in proximity to the playoff line. Chance to get within 3 in striking distance of one of those top 10 positions.
Giovanni Willis gets a late challenge from behind by Vucic. Bethlehem group that won about 7 or 8 games without a win. One of their longer streaks in franchise history. Before St. Louis, their last win come against the Charleston Battery on April 13th.
That was part of a streak where you and I were looking at each other going, look at the steal, look at this start. They look nice, watch out. Just continuing that progression of getting better every single year. 2017, losing to Lou City, 4-0 drubbing. And the performances got more consistent over the 2018 season. That, of course, led to that comeback victory we talked about against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in penalties. They lose again to Lou City, and they come out the gate hot. Wins versus Swope Park Rangers, nice 2-2 comeback versus Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and of course that 3-1 victory Tyler Terrence just mentioned. Seems to have all just gotten away from them. Truly have to understand everything this organization is trying to accomplish, though, and set a precedent. Except for Tacoma Defiance and Seattle Sounders, is really non-existent at any level right now in the United States.
Nathan Harriel wins the header, but it looks like he paid a price when he went down. He rose up high for that header, and he might have just turned his ankle on his way down.
That's what it looked like, almost rolled it a bit, and see him just tentative in his actions so far. Brendan Burke had some pretty nice things to say about him earlier today. Words that really give you an idea of what they think about Nathan Harriel, what he can amount to in the future going forward.
Zach Zandy on the turn. Villanova man able to find Anthony Fontana. Giovanni Willis letting the ball do the work. Now it's Ofemu, about 20 minutes remaining in this one, and Bethlehem Steel, all the credit in the world to them, have done an excellent job of killing this game off in the second half with a 2-goal lead. Hartford are scrambling to try to find something to at least put a little bit of pressure on the youngsters. Fontana on the turn. Cortez! That was mighty close to a goal of the week nominee. Fontana felt like he was fouled on the play. Cortez felt like he probably should have found the back of the net.
Offensively, something they've really been lacking as well with all the rotation is the outside backs getting involved going forward. There's a little touch by Sevnevid that pops right back out, and the Costa Rican just unleashes. Unfortunately, can't put it on frame.
Swartz. A good delivery in at the back post for Downs, and he missed it. The goal was absolutely gaping.
Coming from guess who? Harry Swartz just puts this one right on a platter, all the way to the back post. Delicious ball. Does the goalkeeper get a touch? He does not. Just trying to account for it. He does get a little touch to it. And then right off the knee. Can't account for the deflection. Key Downs, no. Probably should have done better with it, though very difficult to take.
Jorgensen. Still time for Hartford to get back into this one. Mickey Downs. Straight into Ofemu. Downs again. Sliding it through, Barrera onside, forces the save out of Romero. It falls for Swartz, back into the mixer. Harriel's headers away, and now it's Dixon on the first time. Was it a handball? Lucas Spalla says no. Swartz up for the header again, and finally Bethlehem come away with it, and it's Issa Rayan. His touch is heavy though. Sevnevid steps up. This one really starting to open up in the 73rd minute. The crowd rising at one at the red. Raymond Lee now. He clips it into the mixer, headed away by Matt Real. Hartford go again. Raymond Lee. Again, it's Ofemu. Fucci. Swartz, a bit of a heavy touch. Sealed off by Walter Cortez. Good defending. And Matt Real muscles it away, but Hartford are setting up camp in Bethlehem territory. Rasmussen, early delivery, not handled well by Ofemu, but Giovanni Willis picked him up. Ferris, excellent first touch. Skipping away for Harry Swartz, 1v1 now. But Kyle Karinga stood him up.
Not the two center backs. That is a runaway train coming at you in the likes of Ferris. So much skill and pace, and Hartford Athletic really doing a good job putting the pieces together now. Just
Alex Dixon.
Final one.
Barrera. Barrera back in once more. Vucic got control of it. Jorgensen taking the space. Nicky Downs and Vucic both stop the runs, and a goal kick coming for Tomas Romero. But first, we'll get a substitution with about 15 minutes remaining. And it's going to be Axel Picasso coming on and replacing Issa Rayan, who is starting to labor a little bit, but he was able to score his first professional goal.
Be interesting to see if Brendan Burke pushes Axel up high now next to Ferris. It's primarily used on that right side. Play on the left as well. Another one of the midfielders that rotates back and forth. He and Zach Zandy can do battle in the middle, because you can push Anthony Fontana up top and continue to stretch this back line. He's probably a bit more possession-based than Picasso.
Brendan Lee steps up, puts one to the path of Vucic. Now it's Alex Dixon on the turn. Numbers forward for Hartford. Vucic lets one go with the right foot, and Romero hangs on to it. Finally able to make a save with his hands.
That block that Brendan Burke was asking for, the six in the middle. Not doing a good job of closing down these passing lane for Hartford Athletic. Well done by Alex Dixon. Understood it wasn't on. Was trying to find Rasmussen coming over the middle as well. Just good patience, sets it back up. Cheek trying to go far post. Just good job by the goalkeeper maintaining the ball. You young kids at home, it's a good one. If you're gonna spill this, it's gotta be out to the side. Otherwise, better make sure you get your hands on it and then fall right up over the top.
Let's go Hartford is the chant here at the Ren. And it'll be one of the last chants at the Ren. Ryan Williams getting set to come on for Hartford Athletic. 19th Regiment more than excited to get to their new digs at the newly renovated Dillon Stadium, July 13th. It will open for Jimmy Nielsen's group against Martin Rennie's Indy 11, who are red hot atop the Eastern Conference at the moment. Zach Zandy. Cole Turner directing traffic and puts it into oncoming traffic. Now Ryan Williams, the 28-year-old from Birkenhead, England, will make his way onto the field and replace Mads Jorgensen, who did put in a nice little shift tonight.
Just difficult for him to regularly get involved, and we're going to play going forward. It's been much better with the introduction of Vucic up top, number 12. You can really see them maintaining much more possession, which is exactly what they needed. Now an opportunity for Ryan Williams. Said that if they were going to reintroduce him into this lineup, had to be in a supporting role as a substitute. Jimmy Nielsen admitted that. He said, listen, I don't want to bring him in earlier than I have to. Still nursing that lower back injury that he's been dealing with for quite some time. And now an opportunity just inside 15 minutes to play to see if he can get involved and make an impact.
Dixon can't bring it down. And a frustrating turnover for Hartford Athletic. Hartford Athletic is proud to welcome Stanley Black & Decker as a founding partner. Stay tuned each week for the Stanley Innovative Play of the Game. Here's Williams finding Barrera. Into the feet of Swartz. Barrera collects again. Raymond Lee skips away from the first defender. Wasn't exactly sure where he wanted to go after that, and as a result gets stood up by Anthony Fontana. Now look at the change of pace from Picasso. Picasso curling one in, great ball for Ferris. Ferris could be on a brace here, and an outstanding save from Frederick Douay, but he paid a price. Ferris denied what clearly would have been the insurance goal for Bethlehem, and what would have been their third and wrapped up all 3 points. But Frederick Douay to the rescue, keeps it a 2-goal game, but he is in some pain grasping onto that left ankle.
Axel Picasso, another one of those youngsters that has had an opportunity with Bethlehem Steel and Philadelphia Union to challenge the preseason roster down in Clearwater. What a ball in. I mean, just totally getting this right. And if anything, Ferris gets it wrong. That touch out in front, and there's the follow through. Ferris knows he makes a bad mistake here. The second touch that gets away from his body allows the goalkeeper to step out, make a tremendous save to give his opportunity even the slightest bit of hope coming down the stretch.
Ferris could have had a second tonight. It would have been a great reintroduction into the lineup after missing their last game against the Tampa Bay Rowdies after getting suspended in the previous match for his second sending off of the season. But the 18-year-old has already displayed his sparkling resume, which includes blistering pace, brute strength, and quick feet.
How about Douay? If he does not come off his line, it's 3-0. Very well done by the goalkeeper, and understood right at the tail end of it. He might be the recipient of a late challenge.
Sandy on the turn and muscled away by Ryan Williams. Frederick Douay also might be our Cigna man of the match.
It was a good shout from the manager. Brendan Burke coming down here said possession so important right now. 10 minutes to go. Just nursing that lead. Have to find a way to close games out. They have not been able to do so. And if you're get an opportunity with the goalkeeper just going down, hit one. I'd hit one from distance just to challenge him and see exactly how he's feeling.
Cole Turner done a good job of policing the middle of the park, but can't find Axel Picasso. Here comes Hartford. Vucci thought about giving it to Downs. Now will take it himself. Good save from Romero again. Swartz back in. Another delicious delivery over the head of Barrera. Was never going to win a header over the likes of Giovanni Willis, who stands at about 6'3", 6'4". Now it's Raymond Lee. In for Barrera. Nice little pocket of space. Back heel for Vucci. Vucci on the turn. Now he'll take it with his right foot, deflected, and Tomas Romero able to make the save after readjusting.
These goalkeepers having some kind of night. Romero on the tail end of this. Shows you how easy it is. Vucci growing in this game as well. One to the far post there as it makes its way back around. He said, well, why not have another one? This back across his body. Impedes his own momentum with that standing hand on the left side to allow himself to get that right arm up. Another good solid save.
Fontana on the move now. Sliding it through. Ferris again. Has to circle back around. Taken away by Semdevin. But he gives it away to Nathan Harriel. Montana using Ferris as a decoy. Stripped from behind by Nikki Downs. Through ball for Alex Dixon. Has Cortez to beat, then Romero. Forced to go negative. Fizzing ball along for Harry Swartz, who's getting forward more and more often now. Barrera, Downs, back for Barrera, in for Dixon. For Barrera once more, dinks it over the top. But sharp to it was Matt Real, the captain. And before the throw-in, we'll have another substitution. And it'll be Nikolai Linga coming on. And he'll replace Philip Rasmussen. Again, a frustrating night for the striking combo of Angulo and Rasmussen. First it was Angulo to go, now Rasmussen here in the 85th, and Linga will try to provide some sort of spark for Jimmy Nielsen in the finale here at the Rent.
We'll go for an aerial threat much further now, and Brendan Burke going to make a change of his own with Schneider Borgelin getting an opportunity to come on and close things out. Ferris once again, goal on the first one. They're not going to give him the assist on the Rayan goal. He created most of it. Getting to the byline, knocking it back across, coming back from that red card suspension. Made the most of his opportunity. Great shift by the man up top. Give you an idea of how busy Vucic has been.
This one lofted into the top, it's Linga, and almost his first touch of the night found the back of the net. They're claiming that it took a deflection. Indeed it did. The assistant referee points to the corner flag. And we'll have a corner coming up for Hartford Athletic.
It's exactly the aerial movement that they're looking for with this change. Vucic already has just as many passes in distribution as Angulo and has already doubled him in shots. Just 20 minutes of run of play.
Whipped in by Williams, free header again, parried off the line by Tomas Romero. Long-range effort from Barrera blocked in front, shouts for a handball, certainly not given. Alex Dixon back in for Swartz. Williams on the first time, another fizzing delivery. And Nicky Downs can't keep it in play, but Tomas Romero having one of the finer nights of his young career.
Just so many looks available for Jimmy Nielsen now. Lovely balls in from all over the pitch. There's a ball coming right back across. Semnevit getting on the tail end of this one. It escapes Vucic. The center back gets a good strike off. And they just look more dangerous now. They're able to hold play up. That's what they were missing in the first half. I said you have to find a way to utilize all the attributes that are at your disposal to the best of your abilities. They weren't able to in the opening 45. Comes second half, changed tactics a bit, of course, personnel now rotating with Angulo coming off. And they've just been much more dangerous in the final third.
Less than 5 minutes remaining now, plus stoppage time. In for Vucic. Out wide for Barrera. Raymond Lee running with him. Barrera clips it in, hoping for Linga, and the header's over the bar. Nikolai Linga has had two very good looks. The latter was the glaring miss.
It took Hartford a little while to get this right on the distribution side of things. But the height advantage, oh so prevalent. Well done by Barrera, recognizing, just waiting for the run to develop. There's the substitute on the back post. The only person above 6 foot on this back line for Bethlehem Steel is Benu Femu. And he's playing on the right side of the back line, so he's shifted towards the near post. Barrera recognized that. He goes to the far side. They almost get it right.
The chant is Ale, Ale, Ale from the 19th Regiment. And Hartford Athletic indeed needs to get going here in the 88th minute, down 2-0 against a side that, if they do want to enter into the postseason, their inaugural season, will be battling with the Bethlehem Steel. Good challenge, and Hartford will keep possession. Vucic, excellent, finding Ryan Williams. Swartz. Alex Dixon gets rid of Walter Cortez with a brilliant move. Nicky Downs. Dixon first time in for Barrera. Barrera still with it. Still Danny Barrera. Circles back around, goes for the curler, blocked by Shivani Willis. And curled out of trouble by Schneider-Borgelin. Ryan Williams, good play. Lofted in for Linga, and it's a foul.
This is the frustration Jimmy Nielsen talked about in the phone call. Why can't we get it right on a regular basis? Totally different team now. Last 20 minutes have been all Hartford Athletic, especially with the personnel changes. There's a little shove on the backside here of Nathan Harriel. Linga trying to utilize that height to his advantage once again. Would have been difficult for him to bring this down and try and get something off, so tries to get out in front, and Kingay will get an opportunity now. It's Brendan Burke using every piece to kind of slow this game down at the tail end of it to his advantage.
Steve Kingay will come on and replace Anthony Fontana, who put in a marvelous shift. Alongside the likes of Zach Zandy, Shivani Willis, Cole Turner in the middle of the park. And Kingay, one of the final changes for Brendan Burke here in the 90th minute, looking to get their second win in 3 games. Heavy challenge from Schneider-Borgelin as he's shown a yellow card just a few minutes after entering the field to play. Hartford wanted to go quickly, but Lucas Spalla wasn't done with his booking. And we're hearing, much like the first half, 5 minutes of stoppage time. Barrera had it poked away, straight to Picasso. Borgelin didn't see the onrushing Ryan Williams. Now Shivani Willis launches one towards the corner flag. Walter Cortez is going to be able to get there. Cortez towards goal, lets it fly, and Walter Cortez finishes it off, finishes Hartford off. Just his second professional goal, and it is a rocket. It'll launch Bethlehem to 3 points and into the playoff picture, and it'll send Hartford to Dillon Stadium in their final game in the Ren with a loss.
Only a second goal, but he's done it in the likes of 3 games. The other one came in that 3-1 win at home over St. Louis FC. The ball out of the back was beautiful. That's where that back line got stretched all night long. Look who it is, Alex Dixon, having to come all the way back across the field and track things off. Unfortunately, too little, too late. Walter Cortez picks out that far post and seals the fate of Hartford Athletic, giving his team 3 points.
What a finish from Walter Cortez. Just 19 years of age, from San Jose, Costa Rica, on loan from Saprissa, nicknamed the Purple Giants of Costa Rica. And Brendan Burke's young, inexperienced side walk into Rentschler and are going to get a massive 3 points heading into their juicy fixture against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds on the 4th of July. And what a bitter way to leave Rentschler. Ryan Williams, Semdevit was there. Harriel wins the header for Bethlehem. Big touch from Picasso, and he might have Raymond Lee beat for pace, trying to get around him, and Raymond Lee is going to win the free kick. And that gives a sort of wincing look from Devin Kerr.
Try and figure that one out later when I rewatch the game. He's got Raymond Lee the entire time, has his right arm out, pushing Picasso away from him.
Shivani Willis took a late knock. Well, Devin, I hate to ask you the question, but what went wrong for Hartford tonight?
I don't want to say it's pretty simple because it's not. There were a lot of spots that were off. However, let's just make the easy one, the elephant in the room. You want to be the talk of the town? Finish your chances. And they had plenty of chances in the final third where this wouldn't have had to have been a run and gun type thing and scramble with 20 minutes to go. Not a lot in the first half, but the opening 15 minutes, they did have some half chances. Credit to Tomas Romero and his ability to thwart off any attack that came his direction. And it really came down to lack of decision making with the inability to get those two boys up top going. And they were just kind of chasing their tails the entire time. Hit the 65th minute mark. The cheat comes on. Other substitutions were made. And they looked like they were a team shot of a gun ready to go play. And that's not a look you can show 25 minutes left in a game when you're down 2-0. Have to find a way where that's the look that you're giving 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, and consistently giving over the course of 90 minutes. That's why they found themselves behind the 8 ball tonight. It's also why they found themselves in 3 draws over the past 6 matches. We've got some good wins in there as well, and the only loss could have gone the other direction.
And that late challenge on Shivani Willis, it was Nikolai Linga who gets the yellow card. Herrera into space for Harry Swartz. It's a good ball. Challenge comes in from Matt Real. That's going to do it full time. Bethlehem Steel with their 2nd win in 3 games. And currently sit inside of the playoff cutoff line in the Eastern Conference. Tomas Romero was brilliant, and Brendan Burke's young Bethlehem Steel side earned all 3 points here at Rentschler in the final game at the Rent for Hartford Athletic. Walter Cortez with the insurance goal. Issa Rayan added a 2nd, and Ferris got us started in the 17th minute back in the first half. And our Cigna man of the match goes to the fans here, the 19th Regiment, for their terrific support as they will finally get to move into their new digs at Dillon Stadium. The $10 million renovations are just near complete as they will take on Indy 11 in the first ever fixture at Dillon Stadium. Devin Kerr, your thoughts on the 90 minutes?
Let's applaud the fans first. That's what you need out of culture, that even when your boys are down 2-0 with moments to go, you're still cheering them on. So credit to the regiment and their ability to hang around and try and get them back into the game. This is going to be one that got away for Hartford Athletic, where both goalkeepers were on full display, liked what they were able to do. And at the tail end of things, when Hartford Athletic couldn't close it out, they stretched themselves a bit thin, understandably trying to go get at least 1 back and maybe get even close to 2. Unfortunately, too little, too late. Bethlehem Steel would take advantage of it. They get 3 points. Got to give them credit coming onto the road in this environment, though, and nice professional performance for them. They were stretched as well and gave up some opportunities. However, Brendan Burke saw things out, and the youngsters get a victory.
Well, let's take a look at our innovative play of the game presented by Stanley Black and Decker, and it was this save from Frederick Douay which allowed Hartford the opportunity to perhaps go on and at least kind of spark a comeback, but no such luck.
Had to be more tactful by Ferris right at the top of the box. That second touch just gets out away from him. Really liked the movement coming out of the back line in the midfield for Bethlehem Steel tonight, but again, the goalkeeping position by Frederick Douay was fantastic.
Well, all smiles for Walter Cortez, and Bethlehem Steel come away with all 3 points. Tomas Romero earns the clean sheet as well, and boy, did he earn every single bit of it. Stats, highlights, and much more coming up right after the break. Bethlehem Steel FC with a massive win. A roster that's been depleted, been changed up, been tinkered with, a system that's been newly implemented just about 6 months ago when Ernst Tanner stepped into the sporting director position. And yet here they are getting a massive, massive win in the dog days of the summer. Farris got things started. Shivani Willis was brilliant. Hartford Athletic will leave the rent without a point in this final match. And we'll take a look at how it all went down. 17th minute, quick restart. Cole Turner, his first professional assist, finding Farris for his 5th of the year.
Academy player, YSC, 17 years of age. Love the vision. That's smart, just really good. Understanding that there's momentum to be had. Let's go out and get in front of this. Good bowling behind the back line. Farris stretches it, finishes things off, does it once again, though this time, watch his vision. Let me cut this back. So it's a good slide initially, but there's a challenge. All three of them initially go to the near post. That's why there's so much space to be had on the backside. And there's no reason. Raymond Lee does the right thing. He gets in the middle. Semnevit does not. He does not challenge the ball when it comes back across. Makes it easy for Rayan to go out. 2-0 Bethlehem Steel.
2-0 headed into the break, and then Alex Dixon would have an opportunity here, but Tomas Romero quietly maybe the man of the match for Bethlehem on the night.
You joked, and I loved what you said where he hadn't made a save with his hands yet. I mean, coming into the 60th minute of the second half, the guy used every body part, one after another, to keep his team in it. This was the challenge on the back post. Love the ball in by Harry Schwartz. Unfortunately, there's a tiny deflection. Nicky Downs with that trailing leg. It's really hard to adjust midair and put that in the back, and then it escapes him. And this is what it was, the final nail in the coffin. Long ball by Shivani Willis. Really thought he was either going to A, pull this back, or B, bring it across the body. The trailing run by Alex Dixon, who put in some kind of shift, especially in the second half, did not have enough gasoline in the tank to catch up to him. Buries it far post. 2 goals in 3 games for that Costa Rican.
Scored his first professional goal against St. Louis FC in that 3-1 win, and just rifles this past Frederick Douay, and that would lock up all 3 points. And you take a look at the numbers from tonight, and as we mentioned before, Bethlehem had a massive edge in possession at halftime. That certainly dwindled down as the second half went on, but it just comes down to efficiency for Bethlehem when you look at the shots and shots on target.
And lack thereof for Hartford Athletic. I mean, they put 21 shots in general. 15 of them came in the second half. And you saw it. Once Vucci came on, you saw the movement starting to get much better. They maintained better possession. There was a grace about them going forward. That can't happen with 20 minutes to go in a game. Jimmy Nielsen will recognize that. And to be fair to him, he didn't necessarily have the player personnel that he wanted to. Regardless, though, if you're given the shirt, go out there and show me that you want to make amends and that you want to go out and put forth a quality effort. They didn't get that out of the boys up top. It took them too long to get into the game. They fell behind, and they couldn't get back into it.
Well, before they go to Dillon Stadium for their first ever match there to take on India 11, they will travel to Memphis 901 FC, who they owe 1-2. And Bethlehem Steel FC come away with all 3 points here at the Ren in the final match at Rentschler for Hartford Athletic. Really a gritty professional performance from Brendan Burke's bunch, as they will get the pleasure of taking on their in-state rival, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, next up. For our entire crew, my broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, Tyler Terran saying so long for now. Final score, Bethlehem 3, Hartford 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.